This is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in a game that was pretty off my radar and became one of the surprise hits of the recent Geekway to the West convention, and that is Planet Unknown. This is a tile placement game where you're trying to fill up your planet with a bunch of polyomino style tiles, all the while upgrading different abilities on tracks based on the tiles that you placed. And most importantly, my favorite mechanism, drafting these tiles in the first place. There's this big behemoth structure in the middle of the table, this big plastic wheel that houses all the different tile shapes. And the way the draft works is the active player spins this wheel as they wish. It's not random. They're spinning the wheel so that one of the pairs of tiles, this whole wheel is connected. You're not spinning one wheel and not the other. One pair of tiles is pointing towards them, and then every other player will have another section of the wheel that's then pointing towards them. That is, and that determines which tiles you are allowed to buy in the round. So if it's my turn and I steer the tile this way, these are the tiles I can draft. But if you're sitting to the right of me, these are the tiles that you can draft, and you can only pick one of them. And I think this in itself is a really clever addition to the game, because not only are you choosing where the tile is placed on your board, you are still choosing, even though when it's not your turn, you're not choosing where the wheel is, you are still choosing between the two tiles. So I think it's really clever that they incorporated a choice between two different tiles there, so that even when you don't have agency in the draft, you do actually have agency between the two different tiles that you can select at that time. So I think that is really, really clever in this game. And this whole concept of the wheel and the simultaneous draft itself is really clever. There are many drafting systems where you're passing things around the table at the same time, like in Seven Wonders. There's between two castles, between two cities, or tile drafts that happen simultaneously. This one does too, but it keeps everything open-faced information for all players to see, even though your choices are limited to the tiles right here. I also want to give a quick shout out to the game's designers, because they did something really cool, I think, with the planet maps themselves. Each player, on one side of these big mats, each player has the same exact planet that they can fill in. And there's some rules where you're putting stuff in, but it's pretty simple to get into this game and start playing and placing tiles on this map. But the backside has a very, very asymmetric planet. And so I think there's plenty of replayability in this game just based on the tile draft and the core planet itself, and these tracks that you're moving up and up, not down, just up. That's really satisfying in itself. But just that you add so much more replayability with the game by having a backside that's asymmetric. I love when games do this. I love when they have a standard size that you can play with quite a few times, but also when you want some variability, you can flip it over and have an asymmetric side. And not just an asymmetric side, they put pretty heavy asymmetry into these backside planets on the backsides of these mats. So I thought those two elements combined, and all these other elements combined, to a really, really fun game that I do look forward to playing again. But this drafting system, this simultaneous, open-faced drafting system where you still have a choice, is really clever, and I'd love to see that in other games as well. If you can think of other games that do this, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I know there are many games that use this system of having one standard mat side and one variable mat side. But if you have a favorite game that does that, mention that in the comments below as well. Thanks.